You counted every calorie, tried every diet, spent hours in the gym, and still something's missing. You want more than just weight loss. You want your energy back. You want your confidence restored. You want a way of living that doesn't feel like punishment. Welcome to Master Your Metabolism, where we cut through the noise, ditch the fads, and give you a real plan to become the healthiest, strongest version of you. Hosted by our team of expert coaches with proven strategies, science-based tips, and real-life encouragement, not just to help you lose fat, but actually create that lifestyle that you love. You've tried everything. Now, let's try what actually works. This is your turning point. Let's go. Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Master Your Metabolism. We are here with our coaches, and we have special guest Serge in here with us. And we have the pleasure of talking to Serge a little bit, finding out a little bit about him. And then we are going to dive into some of our favorite pet peeves. So, Calvin, I'm going to go ahead and let you start with the introduction so we can learn a little bit more about Serge.
Yeah, so Sergey, I think a lot of people know him now as 50% Natty. I think that's where he made the big name, but listen, he was big before that.
Yes, he was.
We're going to bring it back. I'm going to bring back to like when I first actually met him. It was back when we were at LA Fitness. And the first time I saw him, when he walks into the gym, you notice, it's not one of those people that just kind of blends in. And I can remember it crystal clear. He's this huge man, right? And wasn't talking to anybody, not saying a word to a single person. And when he would go to do his sets, he would hold like a hand towel in his mouth, and this is how I always remember walking around just chewing on the hand towel. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if he's practicing control to not eat the little people in the gym. There has to be a reason behind that. So, but even then, looking at him, you would think he's unapproachable. It would be like, okay, well, I'm going to think twice before I have to say something. I'll leave that for a time that maybe I have to. But then it was very intriguing because I'm like, I got to know this guy. And so the crazy thing is it finally kind of happened. He's one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Very much like that. And yeah, so it was. I'm not going to say the shock, but it felt good to know that he was not going to eat me. But yeah, that was the thing that I remember the most, is that he was just just a great guy, and very helpful. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions when people see big people, big muscular guys, is they just think that we're arrogant, we're full of ourselves, and just all the things, right? And I don't think that's the case, for a lot of people. I think it can be for some, obviously. But I like the fact that he breaks the mold, and he leads by example. And I don't think anybody knows him, at least from the gym, would ever say anything bad about him. You know, he has his videos and has fun, but at the same time, he's respectful to everybody and just does his thing and is extremely helpful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Calvin. Thank
All
you.
right, now I'm going to say the truth now. No, I'm just kidding.
What's that? Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you bring up the little rag. So let me tell you the story behind that. So I had an issue when I used to lift heavy, especially I would clench my teeth really hard and they would grind. So I didn't know what to do. And then I had this rag with me. I put it in my mouth and it kind of helped not grinding my teeth. So from then on, I just kept doing it. And then actually, when I was posting videos on my page and I had me and the rag in it, that actually increased the views because people were like, what the F is this guy have a rag in for? What is he, a toddler? Is who does he think he is? It just get, people get triggered by anything. And but that trigger ultimately got me more views. And then the reason I stopped the rag was because one, I realized it wasn't sanitary. That rag is like all over the place. I mean, I try to keep it within me, but even just touching rag and going back in your mouth, you're touching so many things. And that was when around the time COVID hit. So I'm like, okay, I'm definitely not putting anything in my mouth. So then that's when I completely stopped the rag for sanitary reasons. And I haven't brought back the rag yet. I learned to control, not to clench my teeth when I'm exerting myself on a set.
Yeah, well, you gotta teach me that one because my dentist is getting after me for the same thing. The front of my teeth are all chipped from that same thing.
Same. Yeah, I actually had work on mine. Mine were so bad that I went to the dentist and he did. First, they wanted to do veneers, but I'm like, no, you're not shaving my teeth. Like, I don't want to my teeth shaven. But then he was able to just add on fillers to the top two, and it looks fine, I guess. It works. I just can't bite anything like hard, which I don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I got a question, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's thinking this. What actually got you started into bodybuilding? What was it? When did it start?
My girlfriend left me for a big bodybuilder.
That'll do it.
Shit.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That's motivation right there.
But I've heard of that happen to many people. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
the
sure.
girl like not leaves him, but like the girl's more interested into the big muscular guy. And for me, it was kind of I played basketball growing up, and I started training particularly for basketball. Then kind of stopped. And then one day I was at my job. I worked for aftercare in college, taking care of kids after school. And this one kid, this one other counselor, she was really into working out, and he's like, and he was like, "Hey, Sergey, why don't you go to the gym?" And I'm like, I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? That's a good question. Why don't I go to the gym? And from then on, I started going a little bit, little by little. It just started more getting into bodybuilding, and just from then on, it kind of just took off.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. That's a pretty not too crazy of a story, but I think
No, not too crazy, but what it did for me, bodybuilding changed my life. Just weight, not the same bodybuilding, but just weightlifting alone, it really changed my life. I was the shyest kid you ever meet, believe it or not. I had no friends in high school, maybe one friend that play basketball with, but he didn't even go to my high school. I had absolutely zero friends. I used to sit in the cafeteria by myself. I was the kid. I was very quiet. I was extremely shy to a point, very, very low self confidence. I grew up without my dad, so I wasn't there to, my dad wasn't there to give me the man confidence that one needed. And once I started lifting weights, my confidence just skyrocketed.
yeah,
Within that year, I got my girlfriend, I had a job. I became a brand new person. The confidence it gives you is just amazing.
yeah,
I encourage anybody to do it.
yeah. I think that was a great point to bring up because I had the same experience. I was a painfully shy kid, growing up, and then I started to break out of it. To be honest with you, I started lifting right after 8th grade, and that's really when the transition happened, and people noticed, that I went to middle school with, and we went into high school. I just crushed it that summer. I think I saw it was after a Rocky movie. I don't know which one, but I don't want to date myself. But it guys sprung something in me, and I started lifting. I went in, and people started noticing, and just the comments on that, it just started building the confidence. And I think probably everybody on here can relate to that, I know Amanda can, I know David can, they all have great stories about how they got started, but they learned to love bodybuilding, but not for the reasons that most people would think. It's not about the weights, it's really not even as much about muscle as much as just I just think, just building yourself, just improvement, self-improvement. And it's just such a pivotal thing for people to do, to be able to build that, so it's good to hear it from you because people see you as extreme and they may have their own picture of how they think it started or whatever, but it's good to know, that they have that in common with you, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And
but
also,
oh, I'm sorry. Who's
no,
gonna go?
I was just saying it's also, just feeling strong, right? And a lot of people do it for confidence, but it's also like when things around you are hard or heavy, in your life of having that place that you can go to that you feel strong, that you feel you can handle the things, whether it's not being popular, whether it's people picking on you, whatever it is, it's like when you have that space that it's just you and it's you competing against you and making yourself better each day. It's not a, "Hey, I wanna jump on stage," even. It is just, "How can I become 1% better than I was yesterday?" And I think that's cool, and, like, I remember, Sergey, this same thing, like, I didn't go to LA Fitness, I wasn't working out with Calvin back then, but I remember meeting you at a party at
Tara's house at a party, and you were with somebody, and it was just like, I saw you sitting there with your chicken and rice and, kind of keep it to yourself, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, look," and you started talking to me, and you were just the sweetest person and just really genuine, and that was something that struck me because, like Calvin, like, seeing you, I'd be like, "Oh, he's probably scary," but, like, once I spoke to you, like, you were, like, truly just very genuine and sweet and kind and, like, asking questions about me, and you didn't even know who I was, so it was really nice.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think too that another thing too is people a lot of people know him from online from, 50% Natty, and, I think a lot of people assume, like, when somebody's that big that they're probably short, so you had mentioned basketball. So how tall are you? Just so people know.
I think I'm around 6'1".
Yeah. So, big dude. So there's that. Well, I'm curious, like, who you had to have had somebody that was an inspiration for you, whether it's a bodybuilder, actor, or something like that. I mean, who did you see that kinda made you feel like, "Okay, I wanna do more?"
Yeah, when I first started, it wasn't, social media wasn't as popular back then, so you couldn't really find, I didn't know who anybody, no pro bodybuilders or anybody. It was literally gym bros at your local LA Fitness.
Mhm.
Um, I used to train at my first real gym was Coconut Creek LA Fitness, and I
I used
remember
to go
there.
to that one. Yeah, that was
What's
my
that?
stomping ground. That's my stomping ground for
You
years.
went there, really?
Yeah, that was I was in the, what was it? The 6 AM crew. I was there.
Okay, okay. I went a little bit later. Yes, that was like that had some big back in the day. That
Yeah,
had some big dudes there,
that was a big one.
and those dudes were my motivation. I
Mhm.
mean, you just see them jacked out of their mind, pumping iron, all the girls staring at them. I'm like, man, one day I want to be like these guys. And those
Yeah.
guys are pretty much my motivation that like I saw in front of me.
Yeah, I agree. That gym at that time, I know the time you're talking about because it did clear out when some other gyms started to open up. But at that time, that's where all the competitors went that was in that area,
Yeah.
in Coconut Creek, and they went there, and that's what I loved about the gym because I'm like you the same, I need to see people in the gym that, that I see that motivate me. It's just a big part of it, to go in and do it. That's why I don't do well, to be honest. We have a beautiful gym in our neighborhood, it's there for everybody and it has kind of what you need. But I need that. I need that motivation. I don't want to be the biggest guy in there, and I just want to have somebody that comes in and makes me feel like, okay, I want to get to that point.
Yeah, for sure. And you don't need to have like that online presence, or search for someone that has an online presence to get motivation. Most of the motivation is coming from people that are seeing you in everyday life. You go to the gym, Calvin. I'm sure there's hundreds of people that look at you and like, man, I want to be like this guy. You know, so anybody that goes to the gym, we don't realize how many people just by going to the gym without them even saying it, so without them even
Mhm.
knowing that they're even looking at us, we motivate so many people. So we
Yeah.
have to be aware of that.
Right, and it feels good when they say it and they come up and do it because it does make you want to help them. And it's nice to know that's motivation for me, and it's true because your motivation changes over time, and we've been doing it long enough that we know we can't rely on motivation because there's gonna be days that just suck, and you just don't wanna go, and you just do it anyway, but it is like a recharge, and it's funny how as things evolve, how what motivates you changes, like, even with bodybuilding, like, I know you did the show back probably I guess it was probably 4 years ago or something, maybe 5 years. And, didn't step back on, since then. So obviously that's an example of what motivates you changes, So I'm curious, have you ever thought about competing again?
I actually went to the show this past Saturday and absolutely not. Have no desire to do it, to do any of it. I'm all about the competition. I love that people love it, and I'm all about the industry, the lifestyle of it. But as far as getting on stage, it's just I don't enjoy it. I know, I never enjoyed it. Some people do enjoy being on stage and all that, but and not for me, no.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely not for everybody, and you can definitely look the part. Well, it's I do get as a coach, I get a lot of people that say, I don't wanna compete, but I wanna look like a bodybuilder."
Hmm.
And I just kinda look at him like I'm like, "It takes a lot to look like that, and it's not all fun." Because to hold that look and to have that look doesn't feel good, your energy's low, you look great, but you don't feel great, but it's temporary, it's a small part of that prep, but you can get pretty close, but that's the thing that kinda stands out with you, is that you maintain that look that you look like you're a couple weeks out from competing, all the time, which is really impressive to be able to hold that. But it shows that, when you have more muscle mass, when you build more muscle mass, you're able to burn fat at a much higher rate. So I think a lot of people don't realize that when you get to that point, that you're gonna stay leaner by nature, so this is one of the reasons why we encourage lifting for anybody that whether it's weight loss or whatever, because that muscle mass has a lot of benefits besides, maintaining a leaner body, longevity. They do, measure one of the I think it's the 3rd thing that they measure out of, like, 10 things to, see, longevity for an individual, and measuring the quads is actually one of them. So I would say based off your quads, you're probably gonna live to
We're all
be
set, buddy.
175, maybe 180.
Maybe 200.
They're shrinking, but I'm gonna have to start hitting them twice a week now.
Are they shrinking? I don't think anybody noticed that.
They're shrinking. My shorts are starting to be loose on me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anybody else have any questions for him? I feel like I'm just doing all the asking today, so I'm sure
Yeah.
somebody has something.
Yeah,
How did
I'm gonna go.
Amanda how did you and Siri meet? I'm curious.
Ooh.
I believe it was like my probably second or third time at Crunch, and I was already terrified
Mhm.
because it was a big girl gym. And he's obviously the biggest dude in the gym. So, of course, I was terrified. But he came up and told me that I had really good form and that asked if I was competing. And I was like, oh my God, no, never. And then we kind of just became friends. And now he's like my best friend. And people think that's weird because my best friend's like this giant man. But like, he's just the best person. I fucking love him.
Yeah. I asked you because I know that your experience with getting into bodybuilding is actually very similar to his, where you're coming from with the anxieties and just having a hard time even being around people. And I remember when we first brought you to the we had to literally hold her hands walking in there. Brooke was on one side, I was in the other, and we're telling her as we're walking in, "Don't worry, Amanda, we got you. You're gonna be fine." We're just gonna introduce you to a few people, and she did, and that was a turning point in her life. So it's
Now,
interesting.
yeah, and now she's like the social butterfly of the gym,
Yes.
where like everybody comes up and talks to her.
I still don't understand that. Like it still confuses me like why people want to talk to me. But I think it's because I'm always next to Serge and like they come over to talk to him, so they talk to me by default.
No way.
Well,
No.
you guys are a bit of a spectacle, I'll say.
Yeah. No, they talk to you because you're real and you're a good person. And you just, some people, they're really closed off and they don't really open up. I think you're very approachable. And when people talk to you, you're easy to talk to. So I think that's why.
Yeah, I think it's part of it is the therapist's vibes, but I think
Yeah.
the other part is kind of what Calvin was talking about originally is like I think people can sense when you've been through shit and like how it feels. And I think a lot of people come into the gym and they're scared they don't belong. I know that's how I felt. And just having someone for me, like when I met Serge, like having someone who was nice to me that was like that in shape was like really affirming because I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm in the right place.
Yeah, I think bodybuilding, there's so many analogies that come with it, but I think it's a big part of, like, kind of what you said, somebody's going through something hard. It seems to be the one place that is like your sacred ground, and it's a place that keeps showing you, daily that you're stronger than you think, and that you can push and you can get through something. I think probably Megan and David both can really relate to that the most because they've both been through quite a bit, over the last couple years. And I'm sure both of them would agree that having that one element as Megan went and competed when, in an extremely hard time. I would have if it would have been anybody else, I would have told him, "No way." But I knew her reason. I knew she needed that one thing to have for herself. And, I'm glad she followed through with it. It wasn't an easy ride at all. Her body fought us because of the stress, but it wasn't about getting first place. It wasn't about it. It was about what we're doing is climbing the mountain, and you just gotta go and do it because you gotta overcome, you know? And that's the thing you have control of, and if you don't have that, and you don't have control of the other things, then you kinda have a way of getting lost, you know? So it's
Calvin, I have a quick question for you. What do you think the percentages of people that commit to a show and they don't make it to show day?
bigger than most people think. Bigger than
What
most people
what do
think
you think?
because coaches have a tendency to not post the ones that didn't make it, you know?
Right.
And
So
it's
you're a
because it's not
coach.
good for
So
business, right? But at the same time, I do think it is something I'm glad you bring that up because it is something that I think should be talked about more often. Because I know the thing with bodybuilding is it is an extreme sport. It is every bit an extreme sport, and it's a 24/7 sport, and it requires sacrifice in the sense that you have to give certain things up that maybe you're used to. It could be habits or whatever. You have to give these things up temporarily to get to that stage lean look, so it
what the
does
what the oh, sorry, I didn't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
well, it does get to the point that I think some people realize it's more than what they signed up for.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's why, just to even make it on stage is the biggest accomplishment there. It doesn't matter where you place. That's why every time someone does a competition, you know what I ask? You did a competition. I don't ask where did you place. I tell them congratulations.
Yeah,
I don't care where they placed. Just so they'll tell me where they placed. I just say congratulations on your competition
yeah.
because just to get on that stage is everything. So placing has little to do with it.
Yeah, there's no losers. There's no losers there, and I'm the same way, like, I'll congratulate other teams, when I see they got their other trophies and stuff, I'll go and do it because I know what they went through to get to that point. I see some teams are, they're standoffish, they're not friendly, and they stay within their circle, and I'm trying my best, at least with our team, to break that mold a little bit and make it more of a friendly environment because everybody that's there has their own story, and they've got some great stories because you're not gonna go through a 4 or 5-month prep and not find some type of a difficulty to have to get through. It's gonna happen. Some people get lucky, some people do and they go smoothly, and over time, it gets easier, but there's hardships, that come with it, and it's like you said, there's no losing, and my philosophy for my team is just try your best to improve from show to show. As long as you do that, you're never losing. You're always gonna have takeaways, and you're gonna learn more from not placing first than you will for placing first. You'll learn more than not getting top 5, because you learn what comes with that, and it creates well, not always. Some people get hit hard by it, and they just wanna throw in the towel and say, "Well, it's not fair, this and that." But for the other people, they see that as, "Okay, I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna show them that I can do better than this." And that's the ones that I latch onto because I'm like, "This is your time. This is your breakthrough." I feel honestly for a new competitor, I want everybody to win, don't get me wrong, but I would say for a new competitor, I think it's more of a curse if they win their first show, because I've seen it over and over again, that person fizzles out, they lose their drive. It's almost better to get a little bitch slap in your first show to wake you up a little bit, and say, "Okay, I gotta work for this," "I was a little bit relaxed in this prep, I gotta work for this." But that's part of the growth that comes from it, is pushing yourself to do more than you would normally do. That's what creates growth. That's progressive overload, mentally is what it is. So that's what does it. And that's how we use it as a tool to help improve people. But it's tough for me when I see people come in and they let the mental part get to them. You have to have thick skin because no matter who you are, you can come in your best look and still not place well. You can cross all the all the T or cross all the T's, dot all the I's, and still not place well because you're in the judge's hands and you don't know what they're going for that day, especially in bikini and things like that. And so the placing should never have that much impact on your emotion. Use it as a fuel to do better, you know? And I had a recent competitor that went through this. You know, she was doing her first show, and, we weren't even planning on doing that show. This was actually a dry run show for the show that was gonna be coming after, so we put her in early. And the understanding was, "Don't worry about the placing, we're gonna go through the motions so you get your stage legs." But she didn't place as well as she thought, you know? And, my thoughts too, I'll be honest, is I think she should have placed better than she did. But you also have to keep in mind that there's a lot of different checkpoints when the judge is looking at you. It's not just your physique, presentation, it's all these different things. So we can't complain to the judges because we didn't see what they see. But it got in her head, you know, so she never did that show, which is okay because she pulled out. We know we have to add a little bit more size. So it's not a loss that she did that. I'm still super proud that she did because her journey was really freaking impressive.
Yes, it
Really
was.
impressive from where she started from and where she ended up. So in my eyes, there was no losing, but as a coach, it's hard for me to swallow when I see she puts all that work in and then comes out from a show and has a sour taste in her mouth, you know? So as a coach, I feel like I kind of failed that part, you know, that I didn't have her walk away happy regardless of what happened. So I think that is a responsibility that coaches should have, is to make sure that their competitors don't have that feeling, you know, walking away from it, because it's like you said, everybody's a winner that goes to that show, you know, and everybody has their own story.
I think she might be upset at the beginning, and it's going to hit. But I think once time passes, she'll see the big picture of how far she's came, and she's going to get more and more proud of herself of what she did.
Yeah,
I think it's
absolutely.
similar to what you were saying about the gym, right? The reason you're going to the gym is you don't expect to. I would love to go in there and my legs get as big as yours. That would be great. I've been busting my ass, but to have the expectation that I'm going to go in and I'm going to go from me to looking like you again, my next life, I'm going to be 5'7". I tell everybody I'm going to have butt, I'm going to have core, I'm going to have glutes, I'm going to have quads, all the things, but I can't just make that happen, right? So I just have to do the things. I have to just do the things, keep my mind focused on where I'm going, not get discouraged how fast it's happening, not get discouraged if somebody else is better than me. I just need to focus on what am I in control of? What can I do to move the needle and get me towards the goal that I have?
Right.
And I'm sure Amanda has part on this one too about, just the mindset going into it. And you can't really, I mean, Calvin, I know you mentioned as a coach, but you can't really control somebody's emotions and how they feel for something. What you can do is kind of lay the groundwork like, hey, this is what it is. We are not worrying about it. And you give them all of the information going in. But when the time comes, I mean, it was even from morning show until night show. We were all golden, and then it's like it does, it hits and it's like, dang, it might sting a little bit, but it does have to kind of come back to looking at things and did you do everything that you could, right? Did you stay on point with your nutrition? Did you go to the gym? Did you do all the things? Did you follow the coach, right? And that's what it is.
And what you can do better for the next run, and that's where the growth is. But it's really important, and it's not just in bodybuilding, it's in life in general, that you have to find your own victories. You have to be the one to decide what your victories are, and never leave it in somebody else's hands or judgment to let you feel what is a victory and what's not, you know? So it's pretty important for that. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that, Amanda?
Yeah, I think, first of all, I think bodybuilding is a very difficult sport based on the fact that it is the only sport that is not evaluating your performance. It's evaluating a result of a cumulative effort.
Yes.
And the effort you put in, the judges don't know what your effort looked like. And that also comes from the fact that, and this is something that, people get frustrated about, it's not a level playing field. So, like Brooke said, she would love to be 5'7" and have giant quads. I'm 5'9" and have giant quads and would like to be 5 feet tall. So, you know, everybody starts from a different place. When I look at, competitors, I'm thinking about, where did their story take them? Like, where have they come from? So, from if I were to get on stage, which I'm not going to do, but if I were to get on stage, I don't start out on the same playing field as a 20-something-year-old who's been building most of her life. She didn't get really fat first and have to lose it. I did. So it's not going to be level, and our bodies are not going to look equal. And some of that stuff is outside of our control. So that's where it has to be, the mindset of, I'm doing this to do it. And the ultimate placing is kind of a secondary thing, but it's hard because you're being rewarded for that placement, right? Nobody really cares about who places fifth or sixth. They're looking at who's placing first. So if you're not focused on doing it for the sake of doing it, then you're going to be disappointed because you can't qualify or quantify, rather, you can't quantify the effort you put in, right? So if somebody put in maybe a minimal to moderate effort but has great genetics, that's a totally different situation than somebody who put in a shit ton of effort but maybe lost a lot of weight first and has some skin or something like that. So, you have to remember that it's not comparing apples and apples in reality, but on that stage, the judges are comparing apples and apples. So you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt, I think. And that's probably what makes it such a challenging sport for a lot of people, because you can put in 1,000,000% effort and still come in fifth.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's true. Like I said, you have to have thick skin, but it gets in time, you learn that with bodybuilding. So, I'm a person that likes to come back, I like to see that person have it because it's just so much more rewarding, when you do that, when you have to work for it, when you get it, and then when you finally get there, and you will get there, 100%, it's it just is so much better when it happens that way. I mean, we know that anything worth having in life doesn't come easy. Does anybody ever appreciate when they get something for free for a couple minutes, right? You know, but if you have to work for something, it might not be that great to anybody else, but it's very precious to you. It's the same thing, So this is part of the journey. And as a coach, I do want my team to win, but I'm okay with taking that slow process to get there, because I know that there's value in the losses as well coming up. So, but we keep moving forward, and that's the basis. As long as they don't quit, there's there's no there's no losing, you know. So I got it. Mega's been awfully quiet, so I got to pick on her. So Amanda wants to be short. Brooke wants to be tall. You're right in the middle. Where do you want to go?
I would say I'll probably go like right in the middle, but I like a 5'5", 5'6". I'd be good with that. Like if I don't need a step stool to reach things, that'd be great.
I know. I think Sergey is the only one that doesn't have to use a step stool to grab stuff.
I think of Miss Incredible. That's what I
Yeah.
want to look like. Voluptuous, hourglass figure. There we go.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Okay.
Sergey, I got another question for you here. When was the birth of 50% Natty? When did that come about? How'd that happen?
But 50% Natty started probably like 2.5 years ago with me and my good friend Zach. I'll just tell you how it happened really quick. One day we're just messing around the gym, and he's like, one of us said, "Oh, I'm feeling natty." He might have said that, and I'm like, "Yeah, well, I'm feeling 50% natty today." And we both kind of laughed at that. Like we had a good laugh at it. And I said, "You know what? I'm gonna make us two T-shirts, me and him, that says 50% natty on it." So I made, and he's like, "Okay, cool." So I had my friend make the T-shirts, and I gave it to Zach, and I had it. And every time I wore the T-shirt, people will say, point at me and say, "Oh my God, that's hilarious, 50% natty." So I knew I had something there, and I just didn't know how to spin it to make it into something. But then I was always into comedy. Comedy has been part of my life. And I say one day we're at the gym, and I was wearing my 50 for Natty shirt, and I go to Zach, "Here, Zach, um, after the gym, film me outside." So the first video we did ever was him filming me kind of walking out of my car, and he asked me, "Hey, what's a 50% natty?" And then that's when I say, "Well, I'm glad you asked." And I get into the spiel of what a 50% natty is in a jokingly manner. And we made the video. I posted it. We created an account for TikTok. TikTok was the first one originally, first social media. We posted on there. and it doesn't do anything. And I was like, all right, whatever, so be it. But then about a week or so later, I'm getting all these notifications pop up, and I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? I log back on the TikTok, and it's got like 300 semi thousand views on this video. I'm like, oh, it's taken off. So then Zach's like, oh, we have to make a part two. Well, I'm like, there's not really a part two. I kind of said what a 50% natty is. There's no part two to it. So I said, let's just continue on with the humor and, quote unquote, the reality of the gym lifestyle, and be raw with it, and let's just take it from there and see where it goes. So then we just started creating videos from there.
Yeah,
Really
and
fantastic.
now you're up at the Olympia, you're having a table set up in all these different places, and you got supplements coming out, all kinds of stuff. Who would have thought it would have grown into that? But
Yeah.
I think what people really like about it is that you kinda make videos on real life stuff in the gym, and you just poke at it in a really unapologetic way, and to where it's just, like, over the top funny, you know? It's like you can't see these videos and not laugh as inappropriate as some of them are. You
Right.
just can't help it but to laugh, and it gets a little
Yeah,
bit addictive.
a lot of it is dark humor, um, but it's real, and uh, I find dark humor funny.
But it's not
I
always
think
a
it's
topic
just
that people,
right.
like, think about, but you're actually, like, bringing it out there, and that's why I
Most
think a lot
Right.
of people in the gym definitely connect with it.
Yeah, exactly.
they do, and I think, yeah, like you said, I think a lot of people are just thinking it anyway, and now they're just getting a visual from that. So, but in that process, I know some videos go smooth, but have you had some videos that just went south really fast because of whatever the content was and how you were doing it? Did you ever have anything like happen like that, get tossed out of a gym or has
Not really, because you probably don't even see me filming. I'm really quick. I don't get in people's way. I'm very respectful. So nothing major like I've never been kicked out of any gyms. And everybody knows I'm very respectful. And anybody that is in my video are wanting to be my video. Like if I do a candid shoot of someone, like how many texts you have left. Afterwards, I ask them like, hey, you were being videoed, do you want me to, are you okay with me posting it? And he said, yeah. So, and some people I've had that said no. I have had people that said no, and I don't post it because that's their right. But the only one issue I've had was I came into the gym with an ice outfit,
I was gonna totally bring that up. I was like, I knew it.
and I had one
I was
member.
standing in the first machine when you walked in. I'm like, "Oh, this is the one."
And
He's getting
and
picked
and
out.
I'm not political. I'm not any of that. It was more for the fun matter of it. Whatever people are gonna take it however they want. But this girl, I should say, she complained and completely falsified her statement. A lot of things that she said were not true. That she just um create a story in her head that she thought was happening, and completely not true at all. So, but her complaint went unheard, and the manager and the staff were like, "No, this completely did not happen. What she's saying, because they were right there."
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a chance you take to get some good footage. So what's the supplements that you have out right now? I know you've got a pre-workout.
Here, let me just get it real quick. It's we have a pre workout. We also have a protein and creatine, but here's our pre workout. It's I don't know if you guys can see it. It's prescription it's called Trendberry,
Yeah,
Trendberry.
transgender approved.
of course.
So it's okay. Anybody can take it. Okay.
Yeah. And we can put all those in the show notes in case anybody wants to order, so
Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
So, all right. So, well, all right. So you're the one that kind of causes the distractions in the gym, though. But you got to have some pet peeves that you have in the gym. There's got to be
Pet,
something that kind of drives you and just really kind of grinds your gears a little bit.
I'm going for pet peeves. Okay.
Let it
Yeah,
roll.
Let's
Here we
go.
go.
I
Let's make
take pet I I take pet peeves very serious. One of my pet peeves is when you go into the bathroom and you're in the stall, and you're just finishing urinating, and someone comes behind you and reaches around and shakes it for you.
I know. It's That wasn't even on my list, but I'm gonna say that's in the top 10 for sure.
Yeah. I hate when that happens completely.
Same.
And then you have your unsolicited natty or not tests when you're doing a set, they come and give you a quick natty or not grab, completely uncalled for.
That's an invasion of privacy, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's justifiable.
Another one I completely hate is when I'm posing in the middle of the gym floor and nobody gives me any acknowledgement. I just completely can't stand that.
It's like they're too into themselves. It's like, how are you not
Yeah,
noticing
like,
this?
look, I'm out here, I'm showing off the hard work. Like, come on, at least you can like
Give me
clap
some.
or some
Acknowledged.
something. Yeah, it's just so those are my pet peeves right there.
Pretty big
Yeah, I
one.
think that would pretty much put me over the edge, definitely. And mine, I got a couple. I think I'll throw mine out there, I guess. I think one thing that kind of drives me crazy, I don't mind if somebody says I can't work in with them. I'm okay with that, even though they're just sitting on the bench for 3, 4 minutes in between sets. But I think it's worse that when somebody walks up and asks how many sets I have left, which I have no problem with that. And I tell them I have X amount, but hey, you can work in with me if you want. And then they just kind of give me that
Ew.
blank look, and they're like, "No, I'll wait." And I'm sitting there doing my sets, and I'm thinking, "Well, what's wrong with me? Why do they not want to work in with me? Do I smell? What's going on?" You know? And I get that more often than not. It's just bizarre. I don't know if it happens more nowadays than I think it used to, but that would probably be one of mine. I would say that, and somebody leaving a sweaty mess and just walking away and leaving the weights on. You know? Oh, that just gets under my skin. But those are mine.
There's one that comes to mind that Serge and I talk about, happens to me a lot, where it's always a dude who will come up and ask if I need a spot, but it's not for like a bench press. It's for like an RDL.
I know that dude's name actually.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it happens all the time. I just don't understand.
Well, did you say yes to the spot?
I mean, sometimes.
I would have to see some kind of a diagram or visual of how they spot you in an RD.
I think he has
Yeah,
a visual in his head and the diagram as well. I'm pretty sure.
that and when probably my biggest pet peeve is if I need a platform and all the platforms are taken, but one platform is being taken by like a dude that's like
Curling.
bicep curling dumbbells on a platform. And I'm like, bro, get the fuck off the platform. Like, I got some serious work
Yeah,
to
no
do.
curling and the squat racks. You can't do that. You can't be doing curls on the platforms. Anything that doesn't require the actual cage, the rack,
Right.
you know?
Just etiquette, you know? Or big dudes that need to leave the really heavy weights just laying around. So I, as a female, pick them up myself and put them back to show you that you're inadequate.
It's so bad.
One, the not re-racking, whether it's dumbbells or
Plates
the
or whatever.
weights, just that. And I don't know about our LA Fitness where I go to, and this is probably my just type A personality a little bit, but like, it tells you where the size weights go. Why are
Match.
we putting
Hard is it?
correct? Why can't we put them back where they actually belong? So then we can find them when we need them.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. And I gotta say, and I don't want to just throw any gym out there, but I'm gonna say that there's a certain gym that it doesn't matter where you go in the country, and it's that gym that their dumbbells are always all over the place and not put back in the rack. And I know that everybody on there probably knows what gym that is. I'm not
Say
gonna
the
say it.
gym.
Whereas I will say that, in Crunch, the other gym, they blame it on the kids. And I'll say in Crunch, there's a lot of kids because it doesn't cost that much to go to the gym. Those dumbbells are always back up where they're supposed to be, always back up. It's very rare that they're not in that gym. So who's the culprit here? Who's the culprit? So that is a pet peeve for sure. That definitely is. I
Yeah.
agree.
I'm sure you have some too.
Well, the re-racking of the weights and putting them in a proper location is one. By the way, La Fitness also puts dumbbells all over the place. Leaving trash around, leaving an empty water bottle or a used water bottle does not thrill me. Videoing yourself, but not allowing people to walk through because you're videoing yourself. I'm all right with people videoing themselves. I don't care about that, but it's a communal space. And then the other thing is supersets.
Yes.
People doing supersets, I get it, but don't hog more than one piece of equipment and say, "No, I'm over there. I'm still over there."
Keeping their
And I go at
bag on
4:30 in
one.
the morning, and I'm at 4:30 in the morning. You're not probably in your best mood, although I am. Great time of day, but come on with the superset, and then the grunting, like the excessive grunting.
You got to grunt though.
Grunt is
Sometimes
fine. Excessive grunting when you don't need to grunt.
like if you got like 15s and you're grunting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't grunt on 15s, but like 17 and a half, yes.
Different. When I grunt, I get a lot of attention.
Well, I'm sure you
Really
do.
weird.
I'm sure you
It's a little
do.
different when
And it's like
females do
on
it.
your
You don't
RDLs
see
too.
that very
It's weird.
often,
I don't get it.
but it
Amanda,
yeah.
when Amanda grunts, there's like a show of like just dudes
I'm sure.
make a circle
They show
around
up out of nowhere.
out of
It's
That's
almost
nowhere.
when
like
the
a
line
mating
starts to
call.
form.
Her grunting is like a mating call.
Yes, exactly,
That basically is.
exactly.
There you go, Amanda.
You're
Now you know.
welcome.
There, it's accurate. It's accurate. So, and all of a sudden she's deadlifting and everybody's spotting. So
I don't get it. I'm just doing an RDL. I don't get it.
I don't know.
At my gym, there's a lot of booty girls,
Mm.
which is nothing wrong with that. It's the pictures, like get a lot of that.
That's horrible, David. What gym do you go
Terrible.
to?
come up to
the
Massachusetts.
location of it.
Fourth, any time of the day. The other pet peeve are the broccoli heads.
Oh yeah.
it's like, why are
Fortunately-
they walking around with the Crocs and
The llama haircut.
it's honestly,
Yeah.
someone's going to get hurt.
Although at 4:30 in the morning you don't see them, which is
True.
great.
Yeah, they're sleeping.
It's wonderful. But on weekends you'll see them. 5 kids around one bench.
We have a guy at our gym that walks around barefooted. I don't think I've ever seen that.
We have that guy too.
We do?
We do.
He barefooted. I'm talking no socks,
I'm gonna say
and
no
he
socks.
just walks around.
Hey, if you see a guy at the gym that's barefoot, you leave him alone. You don't say a word to that guy, because next thing you know, you got a kick coming to your head from all types of direction. That guy
Mhm.
knows something you don't. You don't say a word to him.
Until he drops the weight on that barefoot. Like, do you need help?
Although I got to tell you, shoes are really not going to help you if you drop a plate on your toe.
No.
No, they're definitely not a 45. Although the nice ones that they had, the rubber on the outside, that we didn't have in the 80s and 90s,
No, it still hurts. I've done it.
it was gonna hurt. But when you drop a steel weight on your toe, my God, that toe might be cut off. You don't know.
What kind of mating call was that, Amanda?
That's some Gen X stuff right there. We had metal weights.
I got one around music. So we have a couple of gentlemen in my gym, and they will bring their, little speakers, right? And they will be playing their music on a speaker that everybody in the gym can hear. I'm like, dude, I can't even hear my music that's in my ears. Like, please get some headphones. Everyone does not want to listen to the craziness that you're listening to.
I've
Oh my
seen
gosh, I've
this.
never.
We had that at Love
I've seen
Fitness.
it. I've seen it.
I've seen it.
Yeah, I have seen it.
I could comment, but not on this podcast.
But
I could comment something, but not on this podcast.
I can hear Serge's thoughts right now.
You know
I
what
can
I'm.
hear them.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
I got you.
if something tells me this is going to be a video, it's going to be coming up soon.
After the
Looking
recording.
for it.
That would be a hard video, but maybe. Well, but I do have a real gym pet peeves. Obviously, leaving the weights around is really annoying. Also, when someone is working out right in front of the dumbbell rack, that is
My gosh.
extremely, and like, dude, you can't just back up a couple feet. You're in everybody's effing way. I make it a point when I see someone doing that, I make it a point to walk right in front of them and kind of just like, hey,
Squeeze your way on
and look
by.
at them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Asserting
what are
dominance.
you exactly? What the f are you doing?
I gotta agree with
Another
that.
one that happens to me is when during your set, you're concentrating on your set. Don't come up and ask me, "Are you how many?" I'm literally in the middle of
Right.
doing a set, like, and I most of the time when that happens to me, I ignore them. And once I finish, I talk to them and I let them know, like, don't interrupt someone when they're doing their set.
Yeah, yeah.
I bet that doesn't scare the shit out of them when you do that.
Well, it's surprising how much that happens. It is surprising how
Does.
much it happens. I'm like, how do you not know? Or even when you have somebody come up to talk to you, like they should have like a window of time, like a normal break when you're lifting that can be anywhere from like a minute to 4 minutes day, roughly. You got a window, but you'll have that person that comes up and they're just casually walking over and they kind of rest their arm up against the machine. You're like, oh, this is gonna be a long one. Here we go. And it goes 30 minutes later and you're listening and you're like, my God, no, 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 dude, you know, and that happens quite a bit.
Have any
How
of you
Yeah.
about,
run into the sauna talker person on their
oh,
cell
that's the
phone in the
worst.
sauna?
Is the sign talker as bad as like the person that's talking when you're in the urinal? Is it like something comparative to that? Or
Men are weird.
like you're
No, they're
midstream and somebody comes up and starts talking to you?
with a divider or no divider.
Well, either one really, but if there's no divider, then they should just know we're not starting a conversation, but
Yeah,
somebody's
you're
gonna
there.
do it. They're gonna do it.
You're there to do business.
Thank God for stalls, right, ladies?
Uh,
Yeah.
honestly.
I will say that this is probably going to be unpopular, so I'm going to phrase it delicately. But as a female who likes to lift heavy and takes my workout very seriously, I have had to earn that respect. So when I see a girl, usually wearing a matching set in a pastel color, who is not working out, but just taking selfies, I have a problem with that. Like, I worked too hard for you to be able to run, for you to do this bullshit. Lift some weights.
Oh, they're
Just because
working
I
the
like
room.
pastel
They're
doesn't
working
mean
the
you
room.
need to
Don't
be a
you be
hater.
fooled. They will do laps around there and not do one single set.
Not one exercise of anything. Like, if you're a beginner, I can absolutely, like, I was one, I get that. No harm there. But like, the gym is not there as your photo shoot. If you want to do a photo shoot post your workout with your pump or whatever, absolutely go ahead. Like, more power to you. But if you're not actually training, you make it harder for me to get taken seriously. You give women a bad name.
Mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I'm gonna go say my number one pet peeve is when you're going into the gym and you are smelling foul.
Ew, yeah.
There is one guy
That one guy.
that absolutely, and I'm sure Sergey, and Calvin, who he is. Like, he's this guy, and you see him walk in, you're like, oh, I really needed that bench, and I'm gonna have to go elsewhere now and figure something else out because it is so offensive. So really, like, I understand sometimes you're working out, maybe you sweat a little bit more than normal, but not every single time I see you in the gym or smell you in the gym.
You shouldn't smell when you walk in.
Right, right.
That's the problem.
We had that guy, same sweatshirt, same sweatpants every single day. And it was like beyond sour. It was like the Seinfeld episode where it was like beyond body odor.
Mhm.
And you felt like it was gonna like jump to you because it was
Mhm.
that bad. Like you would walk in
You're gonna
15 feet away, no joke, you could smell him. Vile.
That's just gross. I don't even know how to. I don't even know how to follow up to that. You went to the dark side with that, Brooke. I'm gonna tell you.
Well, listen, it's a thing because I could tolerate a lot of things, but like when you're in the middle of training and you just have that, it's tough.
Well, that should be the clunk alert. That they have it like you've been or with the other.
That they should sound the alarm. The guy walks
The
in.
lunk alarm.
It should be a smell thing, and the grunting to a certain degree, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I suppose it's just a person.
How do we feel about dropping weights? Like you're done with the set.
Serge
I'm
was
gonna say
teaching
sometimes we
someone
got.
how to drop weights today.
So dropping weights, there's an art form to it.
Mhm.
There, you could be an amateur about it, and you just don't know how to control the weights, and they go everywhere. Or you have skills, and you make as little much sound as possible, and the weights stay near you. So there's really a skill to it. I think there should be a class about how to drop your weights.
I think there should. I think
You
it
should
should be
teach.
required that you have a certain amount of years lifting before you can do that. I think it's
Yes.
just a necessity. If they're doing it pre, say, we'll just say 2 years will be nice, then somebody needs to let them know. You haven't been doing this long enough to be able to do this.
It also depends on how heavy the weight is for that individual, I suppose. Because obviously, like, if I throw down like the fours on an incline press, I'm throwing them down because they're heavy and I got to drop them. Calvin's like warming up with that, right? So as long as the weight is heavy enough to justify the drop, there's a lot of thought that has to go into that, I think. I think Serge is right. It's an art form.
It has to be a controlled drop. You have to learn how to drop them where they don't fly everywhere.
This is true. This is true. And I'll say I will drop some weights on that incline dumbbell press. You can count on it. I'm dropping weights on that. If I don't, my lower back is not going to allow me to get back up. That's just not happening. That's just old man issues right there. But you know what? But I put the time in, you know, nobody questions it. I put the time in and I
You're over
drop
2
them lightly.
years, you can do it.
Hence the
They
back
don't
injury.
bounce across the room. There's a strategic.
Gym, and you've got someone doing ab work on a bench press.
Oh, that's just rude. That's just rude and uncalled for. That's like
I see it a
in the
lot.
skywalk. It's probably the same person doing that.
It's also the
usually
people
is.
sitting on their phones in between
Sergey let us
sets.
that one.
I remember he did one of the videos. Are you on your 6th text, or how many texts do you have left? And there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
There's a balance though. Like there's a certain amount, like if you're like resting and you want to be texting while you're resting for your minute and a half or whatever, like I don't have a problem with that. But if you've been sitting there for 20 minutes just texting, we have a problem.
You're not doing
Yeah.
the New York Times crossword puzzle in between sets.
Right. I'm usually changing songs or something, you know, or whatever, you know, or maybe I did get a message. I don't know. I might check it, but I usually get up if I'm going to do that. I don't sit on the bench just out of respect, you know, it's a polite thing. That's just experience.
Just looking around if there's somebody waiting. Hey, do you want to, work in? But it definitely is something. No, I think those are all pretty awesome pet peeves. I think we hit pretty much most of them. Does anyone have any other extras they're thinking of? Awesome.
I'll tell you tomorrow after the gym.
Right?
Yeah.
Wait, my next one. But I just remember there was that Amanda and I used to call the bus driver, and she was always there, and she would put her bag on one machine and then her towel on the other. I was like,
Use both.
"You're not using this." "Well, I am. I'm in the middle of working through all the sets." "Okay, do you mind if I use this one while you're wait?" "Nope,
Yeah.
I'm busy."
That was when Brooke's like inner bitch would come. Like she's like, no, you cannot have all the machines.
Mhm.
I can see it happening already. I
3
can already
machines.
see it happening, but those people are going to do what they're going to do though, you know? So I think, Sergey is probably going to get back to the gym for the 5th time today. So we should probably start to wrap this up, you know?
But thank you so much for joining our
So,
circuit, Sergey. It was so good having
in closing, I just want to ask, like, for any newbies coming in, that's getting into bodybuilding, anybody, you know, young or whatever, you know, coming in for the first time, any bit of advice to give them, long-term advice, short-term advice, or
Yeah.
anything that can go up to the top of your head?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't listen to the naysayers. Just start trend right away. No, I'm kidding. Realistic advice. Honestly, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Take your time doing this. I know you see the big dudes at the gym and you want to look like them, but those big dudes have been putting in the work for 10, 20 semi years. It takes a long time. Don't rush the process. You're going to get hurt. You're going to hurt your body. Just stay with it and enjoy the marathon.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's good.
Yes.
every mile.
That's good.
Absolutely.
That's good. So we'll put your information on here, your Instagram and you know, the for the
Supplements.
supplements, all that stuff too. So everybody has it in case you want to check it out. And we appreciate you coming on, taking the time to do this. I'm not saying this will be the last time. We're probably going to yank you on here again at some point. So that's
Yeah.
it.
Thank you guys. A lot of fun. Thank you all.
Yeah, thanks
Awesome.
for coming on.
joining us. And if you all enjoyed this episode, please drop a review for us. We would really appreciate it. And if you have any other episodes that you would like to see or any other topics, put them in the comments and we'll chat with you guys next time. Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Master Your Metabolism. If you found value in today's episode, it would mean the world to us if you'd hit subscribe and share this episode with someone who could use a little guidance in their health journey. Ready to take the next step? Head over to www.mastersfitnesscoaching.com and you can book a free call right from the site so we can chat about your goals and how we can help support you. Don't forget to join our Facebook group where we're sharing coaching tips, support, and tricks to help keep you on track and continue making progress. You don't have to do this alone. We're here to walk with you every step of the way. Until next time, stay consistent, stay kind to yourself, and keep mastering your metabolism. Let's do this together.